Yo, what's good, my people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to give you another WWE Smackdown review. So this is my Smackdown review plus more, and here we're gonna go and review Smackdown plus a couple more shows. But first, we're gonna start off with the other shows. So let's go. So the first show that we're gonna start off with is Main Event that aired this Wednesday on what date was that? Actually, it was Tuesday on the 25th of March 2014. And this show had a different start than most people thought it was going to be. You had what was supposed to be a match between Christian and Big E for the Intercontinental title ended up being something different because Christian ended up catching a concussion during the Fatal 4-Way match on Raw. So you ended up getting another match that had to set up for another title match, which was this triple threat match between Sheamus, um, Ziggler, and Del Rio. But, we ended up getting, for our favorite, a very good triple threat match and a very physical one. It started off with a good pace, ended with a good pace, and it was just very good. They even was able to, fix some of the botches that they did on the Monday night edition of Raw of this Fatal 4-Way match version of this match. And you got another similar ending to it where um, Sheamus goes for a bro kick. I think he misses it on Ziggler or gets it on Ziggler. Ziggler rolls out of the ring, and then Del Rio's getting ready to go for a backstabber onto Sheamus. Hits the backstabber, but while in progress, Ziggler hits a zigzag on Del Rio at the same time, pins Del Rio, and picks up the win for the number one contendership for the Intercontinental title. So you get that, and you get Ziggler, who cuts a promo talking about how he's happy to go to WrestleMania and how he really wants to take the belt with him to WrestleMania, and not only do that, but win that trophy along with having a belt on side of him. So you had a really good match there, and I like the promo between both Ziggler and Big E at the end. Both of them hyping themselves up for the match that they're going to have later on tonight. So after that, you get a 5-on-5 Divas match, which is basically the good girl Divas versus the bad girls Divas. The match was pretty mediocre. It started to get a little bit better once you got Naomi and Tamina that got in there, and both of them started to work a little bit more, and got the match looking right. You had AJ Lee, who was on commentary, and she was just going on about how the Vicky Guerrero's Divas Invitational really don't know what the hell it is. We just know that it's going to be a match with all the Divas on the roster, and she was just going on like, it's kind of a setup feeling because we have no idea of what type of match it is, where we're going to do it, how you prepare for it. So, she was going on about that. But with this match, you get Tamina, who hits Naomi with the super kick and then ends up picking up the pin and the win on Naomi. And after that, you get her a little stare down with AJ Lee. But AJ Lee ends up hugging Tamina, and trying to, calm her down from the anger and stuff like that, trying to hold the friendship up. I thought, towards the end of the match with the stuff that happened with Tamina and Naomi and with AJ and Tamina was pretty chill. Everything else on that match was pretty bad, close to being really bad. So next you get the WWE Intercontinental Championship match, which is between Dolph Ziggler and Big E, and they've had a pretty physical match here. It didn't go too much time here, but both of them went in, put in work. They had a nice TV championship match here. You get Big E, who ends up coming out with the big ending, then coming out with the win here. But Dolph Ziggler looked very strong in this match here, and so did Big E. And it just played more of the story that Big E was the more of the fresh man, and Dolph Ziggler wrestled that night. So ain't no telling what could have happened if Dolph Ziggler had a night of rest or a week of rest to get up for this match. So after that, you get both of them who kind of, greet each other in the middle of the ring, then give a hug, by the crowd saying hug it out. And, you get a pretty good match there. And what I thought was besides one match being mediocre, what I thought was a pretty good main event. And surprisingly, probably, the third best show of the week, if you count NXT and the WWE Raw. But going on to the best show of the week, you have NXT. And your first match on NXT was Mojo Rawley versus CJ Parker, a match that ends up with Mojo Rawley winning. Really nothing much to the match. One biggest problem with this match was that Mojo Rawley, who's supposed to be this hype man and this hype guy, really doesn't keep the hypeness up throughout the match. I would love it if he could find a way to keep, moving throughout the match, even though he's getting beat up, but, still trying to move and still trying to deflect hits and stuff like that to, make his character seem more of the hype thing. It's always either the beginning of the match is cool and the end of the match is cool, but that long segment in between the matches, not really feeling it and doesn't feel like his character at all. CJ Parker really did nothing for me here. He had a tantrum after losing the match and was pulling out his hair and stuff like that. But other than that, he did nothing for me here. Next, you get a match with Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze. They had a pretty chill match here. And if I didn't say this already, this NXT was titled Vengeance Week. And it was basically everybody who had a rivalry going on as far as the last couple weeks were going to kind of get their rematches for whatever it was and, end their little rivalry here. But you get a good match between these two guys, and it was, just a pretty fun match, and both of these guys, hitting pieces of their move set on each other and stuff like that, and in a crowd interacting with both of them. So, it was a pretty chill match here. You get Breeze, who hits the beauty shot at the end, ends up pinning Xavier Woods. So, like I said, you get a pretty good match, and nice to see Breeze get another win, and hopefully, more of a push up in the NXT show or whatever you want to call it. So after that, you get a match with Corey Graves versus Yoshi Tatsu, and the one thing I took away from this match was that Yoshi Tatsu is actually pretty good if you just look at him. His moveset is a little bit fresh from everybody else's. He uses more of the karate set moveset for his own fighting and stuff. And I really think that if they play with his look a little bit, I think that he can be a good opponent for the WWE's whole wanting to have at least one person that's Asian, be at least a mid-card guy on the roster and not just, a very low-card guy, to developmental worker or just house show worker that he is right now. But these two had a okay match here. I thought like I said, everything that Yoshitatsu was putting out was really good, and he kept a good pace for himself. But Corey Graves was, just doing his thing, and I'm like, it's not really my feel of what Corey Graves is. I don't really like it too much, everything that he does, but he ends up hitting this submission here and ends up picking up the win on Yoshitatsu. Then cuts a promo about how he knocked out Sami Zayn, and earlier in the night they went to talk to Sami Zayn to see if he was okay, and basically see if everything is fine with him. So yeah, they had that. So after that, you get your Divas match, which was Natalya, who came out with Bret Hart versus Charlotte Flair, who I would expect to have come out with Ric Flair, but she was there with him a past few shows ago, so I guess they just wanted somebody to be there with Natalya. But these two girls had actually a really good match here. It had a awkward end, not an awkward ending, but like a kind of a different ending to what we're usually used to. Towards the end of the match, which was, like I said, was really good. Both of these girls really put on their moves and was showing up really even match, and even the announcers were playing it really really well and calling it well and stuff like that. But towards the end, you get Sasha Banks, who interferes in the match and hits Natalya, and after she hits Natalya, the bell rings. Charlotte's disqualified. Then Natalya ends up putting the sharpshooter on Sasha Banks for her troubles. And the only weird thing about this is that Charlotte didn't attack Natalya while this was going on. She just kind of let it happen and let Natalya walk out the ring with her uncle. So that was a little bit weird, but it was an okay ending to a Divas match and a good way for Natalya not to get a loss going into WrestleMania as well. So after that, you get your NXT title match, which was for the NXT title, a rematch between Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville, and this was a very good match, man. I mean, a very good match. A lot of back and forth, very physical. These guys came out and put out all the stops, and I would say this match was even better than their latter match on NXT Arrival. These guys went in there and put down work. They came in there and they really worked here. You had Bo Dallas, who, I'm not really a big of a fan of as far as in ring, but his promos are really good. But his in ring here was just very physical and, just really did what he needed to do right here. And Adrian Neville was just high flying all around and, hitting these high ass Superman punches and shit like that and just doing everything he needed to do. So towards the end of the match, Adrian Neville tries to hit his red arrow onto Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas lifts his knees up and blocks the red arrow, but a few more moves go on, and you get Adrian Neville, who ends up getting Bo Dallas down and hitting a new move on him, which was a reverse 450 splash that looked really good and ends up giving him the win again and retaining his championship belt and going forward from here. So as far as the show goes, I would say it was a pretty good show. Both this and main event I thought was pretty good as far as the week goes, and I even thought they were probably better than Raw was as far as the match quality and especially with the divas and the title matches that was on both shows. Like if I was to add both of these shows up, they would be a better show than this week's Raw and SmackDown, that I'm about to get into in a minute. But yeah, it was a pretty good show. So next we can go into SmackDown, that was aired on March 28th, 2014. The show kicks off with Batista coming out, and Batista comes out and basically goes on about everything that's going on right now, how he's sick of Daniel Bryan, sick of, Triple H and all the bullshit going on with him and all this other stuff. Batista, coming out looking like a straight up fashion hobo model. He comes out there and, like I said, he's basically just going on and on about, how he left and came back to win a title, and he still came back, and all this bullshit is going on with these guys that don't have the look at him as him, don't have the ability as him, and just going on about that. So you get Triple H, who comes out and says that this is the reality era, and he starts speaking real shit on Batista, but Batista's also kind of going back and forth with Triple H as well, saying I came back for a reason, and you're in my match and you're interfering and stuff like that, and that's how it's making it personal. And Triple H is saying, don't talk about my wife and stuff like that, and you're not the animal you used to be. But Batista's also saying, I've beaten you up and stuff like that. They're just going back and forth, and the main things of this promo was that Triple H has never beat Batista, and also that Batista's not the wrestler that he was when he left. So both of them saying, you're weak, I'm better than you. But you get Triple H, who says, a real reality thing is that I do have the power in this company and I can put you in a match. So he ends up putting him in a match against Sheamus for later on in the night. But as far as this promo goes, I thought it was a pretty chill promo. Batista was kind of, slow still here and not, back to his crispest that he was when he first left in 2010. But I could tell he's starting to get back in there and getting his feel of cutting the promo back, and Triple H was good as always. So after that, you get your first match, which was the Shield versus 3MB, and it was basically another one of the Shield's revenge matches off of what 3MB and those other tag teams did to them on last week's SmackDown. And this match right here was a pretty chill match. It was okay for the most part. You had the Shield, who basically, stuck it to the 3MB. 3MB had a little bit of offense here, but the Shield was all over them and really just beating the shit out of them for the most part. You had Dean Ambrose, who ends up hitting his, I forget, they call it a new name, Dirty something now. But Dean Ambrose ends up hitting out on Drew McIntyre and ends up picking up the win. You get Kane and the Corporate Outlaws, who come out and basically tell the New Age Outlaws that they're not the only guys they're going to face for right now, and that Kane is sick and tired of the Shield ambushing people, so here's an ambush of their own type thing. And Kane brings out Ryback and tells them that the Shield is going to have another match right then and there. So you get the Shield versus Ryback, so another, an okay match, about the same as goodness as the Shield versus 3MB was. It wasn't really nothing more than the Shield really putting their movesets in and beating down on another team. So you get Seth Rollins now, who gets his curve stomp off on Curtis Axel and ends up picking up the win here. And then they just go in and start fucking up Seth Rollins after the win. And Seth Rollins just starts fucking up Ryback, and Curtis Axel hits a dive on him and pushes right back into the ring. And you get Roman Reigns, who ends up hitting Ryback with a Superman punch, and then hits sorry, I keep saying hits Ryback with a Superman punch, then starts getting ready for the triple power bomb. The crowd is hyped with Roman Reigns, which I really like here, that, you know, Roman Reigns and the whole Shield is starting to get over more and more. And they end up hitting the triple power bomb onto Ryback and end up ending the match like that. And you got the rest of the Authority members sitting on stage just looking at it and stuff. So it's late, people, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit off here. But so after that, you get Sin Cara versus Damien Sandow, another rematch from Monday night, and another quick match. Sin Cara rolls up Sandow, and there's really nothing to say to this that I've already haven't said. You get Sandow, who gives a funny lick to Sin Cara afterwards, like, what the fuck just happened again? And Sin Cara, who's cheering, so, you know, Sin Cara beats Sandow again, and Sandow's pushed down even further. I guess hopefully Sandow can have a good showing at WrestleMania, and hopefully, you know, they have something for him next year. But I don't think this is going to be the end of Sandow. They keep showing him, and he's on TV just as much as Ziggler is, so his time will come. It's just that he's going to have to suffer for right now. So after that, you get Goldust versus Fandango, and Goldust's been doing this new thing, kind of Rey Mysterio-ish, where he's giving masks to kids, and it's kind of creepy that giving kids these creepy Goldust masks, but I find it funny as well. So the match itself was pretty mediocre as well. I'm surprised that these two fought again, especially after the botched ending of a match that they had a few Mondays ago. So, but as far as this match goes, you get Summer Rae, who ends up interfering after they get a little bit of stuff in here, and she interferes with Goldust, starts dancing in front of him and kind of say, hi, how you doing, and stuff like that, and keeping him from the ring, giving Fandango a chance to get his wits back together. And Fandango ends up hitting Goldust with a kick and rolling him up for a pin, and ends up winning his first match in a while. So after that, you get Sheamus versus Batista, and as far as this match goes, like I said, it was pretty mediocre. It was really nothing to it. Just seeing Fandango get his first win in a while, leading him into the 30-man battle royal. But here you get Sheamus versus Batista, and as far as this match goes right here, Sheamus was in control most of the match. You had Batista get some offense here, and, you know, kind of kept it even a little bit. And I thought both of them looked cool here. Sheamus really looked physical. He kind of got the crowd behind him because of drawing heat from Batista, and Batista really did, you know, get some heel heat towards the end of this match. Once Sheamus starts really getting going and getting ready to hit a bro kick on Batista, Batista rolls out of the ring, gets a chair. Sheamus chases him, and Batista just starts wailing on him with the chair, throws him into the guardrail, and gets him in the ring and hits a powerbomb on him, drawing some real heat from the crowd. And then afterwards, he starts saying to Triple H on the mic, is this the animal you wanted? So as far as this match goes, you had a pretty okay match right here with Sheamus and Batista. Batista still not looking like the badass that he needs to look like going into WrestleMania, but I thought this was an improvement from his previous wrestling matches from a few shows ago. So after that, you get your Divas match, which was a tag team match with AJ Lee and Tamina versus the Bella Twins. And with this match, it saw AJ Lee getting into a conflict with Tamina on the outside. Tamina pushes AJ Lee back into the ring and kind of, like, you know, just shoves her in there. Brie Bella ends up getting the Brie Buster onto AJ Lee and picking up the win here. And you get Tamina, who after that, just basically just kind of gives an angry look at AJ Lee and stuff like that, and is just leading more into AJ Lee and Tamina's breakup there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes into the WrestleMania, as far as, okay, is Tamina going to be the one that's probably going to beat AJ for her title there? And also, you know, Vicky was on commentary here, and she was pretty bad on commentary, but she still didn't really give us a hint to what in the hell this match is supposed to be. This was kind of I was referring to what AJ was talking about on main event, but Vicky still gave us no hint to how this match is supposed to go, what is exactly supposed to be going down, and it's something that I wish I don't. It feels like they don't even know what the hell they want to do for the match, so I have no idea. But this is the first Divas title match that's going to be held at the WrestleMania, so baby steps, I guess. And I guess these girls just lucky to have a title match on WrestleMania. They haven't never defended this Divas title at WrestleMania, so we'll see what happens. So after that, you get your tag team champions, one half of your tag team champions, Jimmy Uso versus Jack Swagger, and basically hyping up the tag team match that they're going to have at WrestleMania. You get an okay match here between Swagger and Jimmy Uso. Jimmy gets a lot of offense on Swagger, and Swagger gets a little bit back, but towards the end of the match, you get Swagger, who ends up catching Jimmy and puts him into the ankle lock and ends up making Jimmy tap out. So you get the Real Americans who kind of get some, leveling off here, and they're not fighting that much anymore, or really fighting at all right now, and it's kind of showing, okay, hopefully we can work together going into the Mania match, and kind of giving just the Real Americans a little boost here and making them a viable fight against the Usos. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this on Raw going into the WrestleMania. So after that, you get The Miz versus Mark Henry. Just a back and forth match here for the, kind of showing these guys off for getting ready to go into the 30-man battle royal. You get still a back and forth match with Mark Henry ends up picking up the win here. The Miz ends up throwing Mark Henry over the top rope during the match and kind of showing that, oh, I can throw you over the top rope, but Mark Henry ends up beating his ass anyway. So after that, you get your main event, which I thought was the best part of the show, which is Bray Wyatt versus The Big Show, and you get a very fun match here. I really thought Bray Wyatt made this match. Him and Big Show really played off each other very well. Big Show playing a giant here, playing somebody, who's basically kind of got to play that got to play that unbeatable guy, and it's been building him up, for a couple weeks now since they announced the 30-man battle royal, where he's been winning a lot of the matches that he's been in lately, and been basically looking good in every segment that he's been in. And it's kind of a good look to put him against Bray Wyatt right now, because he is kind of been building up to probably win the 30-man battle royal. So this match right here was very good for one reason, that Big Show is looking strong right now, and also another reason that these two have never faced before. And this, like I said, this match right here was pretty fun to watch. You had Bray Wyatt, who played this match perfectly. He got beat up, and every time he got hit, he was smiling and laughing. He didn't really let the pain get a look to him and stuff. The Wyatt family members played a really good part in here. Once Bray Wyatt started to get some offense in after Big Show messed up and missed his elbow drop, Bray Wyatt just went in, and he just was doing very well here. You even got to see him do the crab walk here again, and just going crazy. Towards the end of the match, you get Eric Rowan, who kind of looks like he's about to jump into the ring to distract the ref, and you get Luke Harper, who kicks Big Show in the face and gives Bray Wyatt the chance to get the Sister Abigail onto the Big Show and hit it on him and pick up the win. But like I said, this was a very fun match. It was a little short as far as being a main event match, and it could have got a lot more time. But for what it was, Big Show looked strong here. Bray Wyatt looked really strong here, and it gave a hint of Bray Wyatt is a threat and could beat John Cena. So as far as the show goes, it was very mediocre to average. The one really good spot here, the one shining spot here was this main event. Everything else was just average to mediocre. I say the only other spot that I thought was okay was the promo between Batista and Triple H, and I thought the Shield stuff made them look strong, but the matches themselves wasn't really that great. So if I had to score this show, I would probably score it a C minus. It wasn't a total like D or failure to me. It was just average show. So, thank you for watching. My links are down below. Comment, like, subscribe. I will comment back if you comment. You can go back to my other videos. I do comment back. Thank you for watching, and thanks for the likes, thanks for dislikes or whatever you want to send me. Continue watching wrestling, and if one show I say watch this week, watch NXT. Peace.